Hi everyone, I am back. This is Amber, and I will be reading Who is Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So, recently in the news, we've been hearing how she had passed away. Now, I knew she was a judge, but let's see, I would like to read on with this to really get to know who she was. And if you would like to know too, please watch the video. All right, so the beginning, I don't know. All right, so go straight to chapter, no, it doesn't, yay, okay. So it says, who is Ruth Bader Moore? Sorry, this is a brand new book. Like every kid, Ruth always looked forward to her birthday. When the special day came along, she and her mother loaded up bags of ice cream. Then they bought the treats to a place where Ruth celebrated all her birthdays. It wasn't filled with balloons or wrapped presents. It was at a nearby orphanage, a home for children who didn't have parents. Sometimes Ruth wished for her birthday parties like her friends had, but the smiles on the children always changed her mind. Life wasn't always easy for Ruth's family either. Her parents are hard-working immigrants. They rent an apartment in Brooklyn, New York. Before I read on, I'm going to show you a picture. So how neat is that? First of all, for her birthday, they would be giving candy, treats, to the orphanage for those children who don't have parents or probably not much of anything. That's amazing. Maybe I should start doing that with my kids. What do you guys all think? Would you do that for other kids or parents? Would you think to do that for your kids for on their birthdays? Kids, would you do that for your birthday? But Ruth's mother taught her to care for others who had even less. It made Ruth want to do something. When she grew up, something to change people's lives. But how could a girl make a difference? When Ruth was a child, girls faced lots of closed doors. Back then, there were policemen, male men, and firemen. Doctors, dentists, pilots, lawyers, soldiers, nearly were all male. Ruth never dreamed that one day she'd beat the odds and become a lawyer. But that's what she did, and it was just the beginning. Ruth was tiny, soft-spoken, and always polite. Yet when it came to standing up for people's rights, she was a warrior. She fought to change laws to give women an equal chance in society. One by one, she opened doors. Then she walked right through many of those open doors herself, all the way to the Supreme Court. Today, Ruth Bader Ginsburg is so famous that millions know her just from her initials, RBG. There's that. Now a picture of her. All right, so what is the Supreme Court? Well, let's figure this out. The Supreme Court sits in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. It's part of the judicial branch of government. The other two branches are the legislative branch, which is the Congress, and the executive branch, which includes the president. A group of 9 judges, called justices, sit on the court. There are no juries. The justices have the final say on matters of law in the United States. The framers of the Constitution wanted the Supreme Court to be independent of politics, so justices are allowed to hold their jobs for life. They can't be removed from making unpopular decisions. The Supreme Court has a big job to do. It makes sure the Constitution is followed by Congress, the President, and all 50 states. Its decisions affect the lives of all Americans. Okay. So I'm going to show you this picture, and then I'm going to let you know who's who on this picture. Okay? All right, I got to sit up because sorry. So this person right here, from left to right, it says Elena Kagan, Samuel A. Alito Jr., Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Brett M. Kavanaugh, John G. Roberts, Jr., he's the Chief Justice. And then over here is Clarence Thomas, Stephen G. Breyer, Sonia Sotomayor, and Neil M. Gorsuch. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even see it. So, whoever I stated there already, I don't know if you can read their names. Let's see, there you go. If it's... it was up there. I apologize. If it's really bad, and you really want me to do it again, just let me know. I will make a comment, and I'll do it again. All right, I'm just going to read chapter 1, and then that'll be my thing for today, okay, guys? All right. An immigrant family. The future judge, known as RBG, was born a frisky baby on March 15th, 1933. Her birth name was Joan Ruth Bader. But as a baby, she kicked so much that her big sister Marilyn nicknamed her Kiki. Say Kiki. Kiki. Later at school, she started going by her middle name because there were so many Jones in her class. Ruth was the name that stuck. Ruth grew up in Brooklyn, a bustling part of New York City. She lived with her parents, Nathan and Cecilia Bader, on the bottom floor of a 2-family house. Their landlady lived right above them. Their block was filled with hard-working immigrant families like theirs. Ruth's shy, gentle father had been born in Ukraine, near Russia. Nathan was forbidden from going to school there because he was Jewish. In the United States, he went to night school to learn English and become a citizen. Okay, I think I'm missing a page here. Yep. All right. Ruth's mother, Cecilia, was born in America just months after her family arrived from Poland. They were also fleeing because they were Jewish. Young Ruth learned early from her parents to treasure America's freedoms. Like the other fathers in the neighborhood, Nathan Bader left for work each morning. Nathan made a living selling fur hats and coats. But in the 1930s, during the Great Depression, most Americans were too broke to afford them. Nathan had to work late just to make ends meet. Cecilia stayed home to raise her 2 daughters. Sadly, when Ruth was 2, her 6-year-old sister died. After that, Celia pinned all her hopes on little Ruth. That's sad. Doesn't say what happened to her sister. Maybe she just got sick. Oh. Immigrants in New York City. Millions of immigrants flooded into the United States at the beginning of the 1900s. Terrible hardships, including religious prejudice, drove most immigrants to leave their homelands. About 1/3 of the newcomers stayed right in New York, where they first landed at Ellis Island. At that time, most mothers hoped their daughters would grow up to marry some Prince Charming. Not Celia. She believed in women's rights. As a young woman, she had marched in a parade to get women the right to vote. She raised her daughter to be independent. More than anything, she wanted Ruth to get a good education. Celia had been a brilliant student herself. She graduated from high school at age 15. She dreamed of going to college, but Celia's father thought college was wasted on a girl. So Celia took an office job instead. Every week she handed over money to help her older brother attend college. Now as a mother, she passed along a love of books and learning to her daughter. Ruth's earliest memory was of sitting on her mother's lap while Celia read to her. Ruth became a good student like her mother. Sometimes, though, she felt a lot of pressure. One time, her report card showed a poor grade. Her mother looked so disappointed. Ruth made up her mind to get straight A's from then on. And she did. Life wasn't all about studying, though. Not by any means. Outdoors, the kids on the block played in a pack. Jumping rope was the rage with girls then. Ruth could jump double dutch, quickly stepping in and out of two long ropes swinging in opposite directions. Some days she explored the neighborhood on her roller skates. One day, Ruth watched 5 boys from the block leaping from one garage roof to another. That looked like fun and daring. Jumping roofs wasn't all ladylike. But that didn't stop lively Ruth from joining in. So this must be the jump rope. This must be the going roof to roof. As a child, Ruth also found a passion for her arts. Her dream place was the Brooklyn Academy of Music, just a subway ride away. Every Saturday, her mother took her to see children's theater there. With her class, Ruth went on school trips to see the art collection at the Brooklyn Museum. When Ruth turned 11, her mother took her to her first opera. Opera is like a play, only all the parts are sung. Ruth thought it was magnificent. The soaring voices, the music, the costumes, the drama, it all thrilled her. She dreamed of being an opera star, but her voice was so bad that her teacher asked Ruth not to sing out loud in chorus. Once a week, Celia dropped Ruth off at the library while she got her hair done. Ruth curled up in a chair and read stories of daring women. Her favorites were the Nancy Drew mysteries, starring a smart, independent girl detective. The real-life story of Amelia Earhart, a famous pilot, fired her imagination too. Right below the library was a Chinese restaurant. Delicious smells drifted up while Ruth lost herself in reading. From then on, the smells of soy sauce and egg rolls reminded Ruth of books. In 1945, when Ruth was 12, World War II ended with Germany's defeat. Adolf Hitler's plan had been to rule all of Europe and wipe out the Jews. As a Jewish girl, Ruth was very aware that Jews were being killed by Hitler's forces. Her own family was safe in America, yet even in the United States there was a prejudice. On a road trip to Pennsylvania, Ruth spotted a sign outside a hotel, "No dogs or Jews allowed," it read. Many years later, when she was a judge, Ruth would tell the U.S. Senate about the sting of these words. A woman's right to vote. For decades, women in the United States worked hard to win the right to vote, but it wasn't until 1920 that an amendment or change to the United States Constitution made it a law that women would be allowed to vote. Since women make up more than half of the U.S. population today, their votes can determine the outcome of many elections. All right, I'm going to stop there today, and I will be back to read Chapter 2. You guys have a great day.